Last time in the Gott's Garage, we were building the hot side for Duct Tape's turbo kit. This time, if you want to go fast, you need a seat, so we're making seat brackets. Alright, so today I'm going to be putting this Kirkey seat inside of the Nova, and it is not going to fit in there easily. So first things first, my Nova's pretty much empty. All I've got is these floor mounts. And so you'll see there's studs coming out of the floor on these Novas. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use those studs to mount the seat. Now, when you start looking at the seat mounts for the Kirkey seats and you do a little bit of measuring, you realize quickly that these two mounts are quite a bit farther apart than the bolts that are in there. As far as an adapter bracket goes, what I did was I said, hey, I don't feel like making one, I'll just order one off of Jegs. And I did. It came and it did not fit. So I'm gonna make one now. And I got me some 1 by 1/4 inch. And it's about 3 foot of it, steel. Got me 2 of those because I'm gonna be making a passenger seat bracket as well. And then I got some 1/8 inch. This is 1 by 1/4 inch wide, and then some 1 rebar. So what we'll be doing is, I've already actually gotten started, and I went ahead and cut 2 bars of the angle iron. First thing that I did was I measured in between the bolts. So on the Nova, in between the bolts for the front and rear, right here, it's about 10 inches. So you take your measurement, it ends up being about 10.5 inches in between the 2 of them. So I'm gonna have 2 bars up front and in the back, the 1 rebar, and that will be connected by the 1 inch and by 1/4 inch flat plate. So now that I've got my 10.5 inch pieces of angle bar chopped, 15 1/4 of this, I believe that's 1 inch by 1/4 inch steel. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna tack these together, and I think the fashion that I'm gonna go is I'm gonna stick it under it, basically letting it lay into itself like so. That way I can put the maximum amount of weld around it and make sure that it stays strong. Now the reason that I went 10.5 inch and 15 1/4 is 10.5 inch is just in between the bolts, and the 15 1/4, as far as this goes, is about 1/2 inch past the bolts front to back. That'll make it where the little tangs that I have to make, like this, when I make those, as you can see, the bars themselves are in between. So we'll keep the bars in between and then have the little tangs come out to the side, and it should be just about right. I'm gonna tack this together on all 4 corners and start testing. Looking pretty good. Just test fitting it, and looks like the tabs are lining up. I'm just gonna need to bend this one down to flatten it a little bit, but now I'll make the front tabs. Now that I have all 4 tangs welded on and the basic frame there, I went ahead and I set it on top of the bolt holes and made little marks. Then I came back with a small drill bit and made tiny holes, and then I'm using bigger drill bit after the small drill bit. It just makes it easier to get the hole done. If you try to start out with a big drill bit, it might not happen, or it might take you 3 hours. Besides that, one thing that I did want to mention is, on the driver's side at least in this Nova, when you're sitting in the car, so we're facing this way, if we're sitting in the car, on the back right, the back right is just a little bit, has to be a little bit longer than the rest of them. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's a little bit longer, about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch longer. And that's just so that it can reach down and really grasp the floor. So I'm gonna drill these holes in each one of them, and then we're gonna test fit it with the actual studs going through for the first time. Now that I got this all welded up together and I've test fitted it about 4 times, I know it's gonna be in the right position. I can throw the rest of the welds on there, make sure this thing stays in place. What we're gonna do is across the entire span of where the brackets themselves are, about 17.5, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, 17.5. But as far as what we need for the bolt holes themselves are about 15 3/4. So I'm gonna put a 1/4 inch on each side. We'll just go 16.5. So that's what I did, 16.5. We'll have a plate that goes across, catches the back 2 bolts. It will be like so, welded on. I'm gonna weld it on the front and the back, and then on the front we'll have 2 tangs that come off to catch it that will be supported. So you'll see what we do here in just a second. Before I put the back bar on for the back bolts, I'm going ahead and hit it with a punch, put a little tiny hole in it, and then open it up to a 5/16. And I'm gonna put a 5/16 grade 8, 4 of them. Well, we've got it all the way put together. We started out with just some scrap iron, and that was just a couple pieces of angle iron on each end, and some 1/4 inch thick by inch thick flat iron, some 1/8 inch by 1.25 inch, and we got this now. We've got our back mounts, our front mounts, and so you can buy $120 seat bracket from Jegs if you want to mount your racing seat, or you can go to Lowe's, and I bought all the materials that I used to make this for less than 40 bucks. 40 bucks and 2-3 hours of your time, you can make one, and you don't need any extra brackets. You'll be able to bolt this directly up to your seat, put it in the car. Okay, so I was just gonna put the seat in, but then I sat in it, and then I tested the shifter, so I've got to mount the shifter. I got to see what it's gonna feel like. I gotta see. So I got this really cool pedestal. I'll have to try to put the guy's name in the description or something like that. I got it off of Facebook because I didn't like some of the other ones that are bulky, but I just test fit it, and I realized that I've got to bend these tabs in for mine because of the way I'm gonna mount it. And then I'm gonna add a little piece of metal that stretches out right here, and I should be able to install it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then show you guys what it looks like inside of the car with the seat mounted and the shifter. I was really happy with how this turned out, plus it saved me a little money for Go Fast parts. If y'all like this video, y'all smash that like button and drop a comment below. Thank y'all for watching.